The Ferrari gleamed under the California sun, an icon of wealth and pride. At the edge of a luxury car show, billionaire businesswoman Victoria Hayes stood beside the crimson masterpiece, surrounded by reporters. The event was meant to showcase her company's newest model, a hand-built supercar worth millions. But just as cameras started rolling, the car sputtered, coughed, and died. The sound echoed through the courtyard like an insult. Engineers panicked, assistants whispered, Victoria's jaw tightened. "Get someone who can fix this." "Now," she ordered, her tone slicing through the chaos. Minutes later, a young mechanic named Ethan Cole walked in. His jeans were dusty, his shirt grease-stained, and his hands looked far too ordinary for such an elite crowd. He wasn't invited, just a local repairman from a small garage down the road, brought in by a desperate staff member. The guards hesitated to let him close, but Victoria motioned sharply. "Let him try," she said coldly. The reporters leaned forward, hungry for drama. Ethan knelt beside the engine, ignoring the flashing cameras, his focus calm, eyes sharp with quiet confidence. The Ferrari's hood lifted like the curtain of a stage. Ethan inspected the engine meticulously, every wire and bolt reflecting his reflection in the chrome. "Who worked on this last?" he asked softly. One engineer stammered, "We all did, sir." Ethan smiled faintly. "That's the problem." He adjusted the ignition timing, removed a loose connector, and twisted a small valve with his bare hand. Within moments, he stepped back, turned the key, and the engine roared to life, its deep growl cutting through the stunned silence. The crowd gasped, and flashes erupted again. Victoria crossed her arms, hiding her surprise behind a practiced smirk. "Impressive," she said. "You fix it that easily?" Ethan nodded modestly. "Sometimes the solution's simple. You just have to see what others overlook." The crowd applauded, but Victoria wasn't finished. She gestured toward her daughter, Amelia, a graceful young woman in her 20s, watching quietly from behind. "You know," Victoria said loudly, half joking, half testing, "if you can fix a Ferrari that fast, maybe you deserve to marry my daughter." Laughter rippled through the audience. Ethan smiled politely but didn't flinch. He wiped his hands on a cloth, looked her straight in the eyes and said, "Mom, I don't fix cars to win people. I fix them because I love what I do." The laughter faded. His tone wasn't defensive. It was sincere, humble, and full of conviction. Amelia's eyes widened, struck by the strength behind his words. Victoria blinked, unsure how to respond. The journalists exchanged glances, realizing they had just witnessed something real, a moment of honesty money couldn't buy. Ethan simply closed the hood and handed her the keys. After the crowd dispersed, Victoria approached him privately. "You have courage, I'll give you that," she said, her voice softer now. "You could have played along, but you didn't," Ethan shrugged. "Respect isn't earned through jokes or titles. I learned that from my father." He glanced at the car. "Machines are honest. They don't care who you are. They only respond to patience and care." For the first time that day, Victoria smiled genuinely. "I misjudged you, Mr. Cole. Perhaps you're the kind of man our company needs, not just our engines." The next morning, Victoria's assistant called Ethan. She wanted him to visit Hayes Motors HQ for a meeting. Nervous but curious, he arrived wearing his cleanest work shirt. Amelia greeted him at the lobby with a warm smile. "My mother doesn't invite just anyone," she said kindly. "You made quite an impression." Inside the boardroom, Victoria introduced Ethan to her team. "This man fixed what 30 of you couldn't," she said, "and he did it with humility." Then, turning to Ethan, she added, "I'd like you to head our new innovation workshop." Ethan blinked, surprised. "Me, I'm just a small-town mechanic." Victoria shook her head. "No, you're a man who sees solutions where others see problems." "That's leadership," the engineers murmured in approval. Amelia grinned proudly. Over the next few months, Ethan became an essential part of Hayes Motors. He introduced simple yet brilliant ideas that improved engine efficiency and reduced costs. Workers respected him because he treated everyone equally, from janitors to designers. His hands were calloused, but his mind was sharp, and his humility inspired the whole factory floor. Amelia often visited the workshop, asking questions, helping test engines and laughing at his dry humor. What began as professional respect slowly grew into something deeper. They shared lunches, stories about their families, and late-night coffee breaks, surrounded by the scent of oil and machinery. One evening she asked him, "Do you ever regret turning down my mom's joke?" Ethan smiled. "No, because I didn't need to earn your hand with a Ferrari. I'd rather earn your heart with honesty." Amelia blushed softly, the hum of the engines filling the silence between them. By the end of the year, Hayes Motors launched their most successful car line ever, designed by the team Ethan had helped lead. During the unveiling event, Victoria took the stage and paused before speaking. "A while ago," she began, "I joked that whoever could fix my car could marry my daughter. I didn't know that man would also fix the way I see people." She turned toward Ethan and Amelia, standing side by side, smiling under the spotlight. The audience applauded, but the two of them barely heard it. They were lost in each other's eyes. Months later, as the sun dipped below the California skyline, Ethan stood outside the workshop with Amelia. The sky blazed orange against the glint of polished cars. "So," she teased, "you still think love can't be earned by fixing Ferraris?" Ethan chuckled. "Maybe not," he said, wrapping an arm around her, "but it sure helped me meet someone worth keeping." She laughed, leaning against him. Somewhere nearby, the Ferrari's engine purred softly, no longer a symbol of wealth, but of destiny, humility, and the power of one honest heart.